The Dallas Cowboys mandatory minicamp is underway, and right from the first whistle, the energy of the star has been electric. What's catching the most attention isn't just the routines or the structure of the practices, it's the connection. That's quickly developing between quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver George Pickens. In just the opening day of full team drills, Pickens hauled in 5 catches from Prescott. Considering Dak threw only 19 passes during the session, that's a remarkably high target share for Pickens. And even more impressive is how effective those completions looked. The rhythm was there. The trust was visible. And it's hard not to feel like something special might be building. Call it the Dickens duo if you want. Pickens and Prescott already have the kind of early chemistry that teams spend full seasons trying to find. And this isn't coming from forced throws or awkward fits. These completions are happening in stride, with timing, anticipation, and confidence. It's clear that Prescott is beginning to trust Pickens in contested situations, outside the numbers and in the intermediate game. For a receiver like Pickens, who thrives on making plays with physicality and sharp route running, that's exactly the kind of quarterback attention he needs. And for Dak, who's entering a pivotal season in terms of both performance and contract implications, finding a go-to weapon beyond CeeDee Lamb could be a massive development for the offense as a whole. Speaking of Lamb, he too continues to shine during these early off-season workouts. In fact, the trio of Dak, Lamb, and Pickens seems to be operating with a quiet but lethal synergy that hasn't been seen in Dallas since the days of Romo, Witt, and Dez. Every snap, every rep, every crisp cut and clean release, they're all reinforcing. The same thing. This offense is deep, talented, and potentially more versatile than it's been in years. There's a confidence around this receiving group that feels new. With Pickens showing he can line up and win on the outside, Lamb continuing to dominate from multiple alignments, and other names like Jalen Tolbert and Cavante Turpin carving out their own lanes, the room suddenly doesn't feel like a one-man show. Unfortunately, fans haven't been able to witness these flashes directly. No video footage from these sessions has been made available, which makes the buzz around Pickens even more meaningful. Multiple reporters on site have described standout plays. One in particular where Pickens went up and over Israel Mukwamu for a highlight reel catch. Another where he stretched the field outside the numbers and came down with a tightly contested grab. These aren't just solid reps. They're statements. Plays that if caught on camera would be filling timelines and igniting debates on just how high his ceiling might be in this Cowboys system. Of course, as always during minicamp, it's important to keep expectations grounded. These practices are non-padded, the defense is limited in how physical they can be, and coordinators are more focused on installation than domination. Still, the eye test counts for something, and so far, George Pickens is passing every challenge. With ease. What's even more encouraging is that his consistency isn't limited to a few good moments. There's a growing list of sessions where he's been a focal point of the offense, gaining praise, stacking quality reps, and earning more time with the first team. While Pickens and Prescott headline the buzz, they're not the only ones impressing. Second-team quarterback Joe Milton had a flawless outing on Tuesday, not throwing a single incompletion in team drills. For a player known for his cannon arm and inconsistency in college, that's a huge win. Milton seems to be settling into the system quickly, and his mobility is adding another dimension to those second-team looks. One of his go-to targets has been Jalen Cropper, who is quietly making a push to prove he belongs on the active roster. Cropper, despite being buried deep on a competitive depth chart, continues to earn praise from media members in attendance. Whether it's working out of the slot, stretching the field horizontally, or catching passes on the move, he's finding ways to stand out. The road to a final roster spot for Cropper is undeniably steep. CeeDee Lamb is a lock. So is Pickens. Jalen Tolbert and Cavante Turpin have both carved out roles. Jonathan Mingo, brought in after a quiet stint with the Panthers, is also expected to make the cut. That leaves a handful of players, Cropper included, fighting for what might be just one remaining spot, barring injuries. Guys like Tyron Billy Johnson, Racey McMath, Dontario Drummond, and Cropper himself are in direct competition, and practice squad slots might be the most realistic path forward. Even so, you can't help but root for someone like Cropper, who's showing up in every opportunity he gets. Jonathan Mingo, for what it's worth, is also starting to show signs of life. On Tuesday, he reportedly saw the second most targets during drills and made the most of his reps. That's exactly what Dallas needs to see from a player who never quite found his footing in Carolina and struggled to stay involved after the trade. Mingo's frame and physical tools have never been in question. What's been missing is consistency. The Cowboys coaching staff is hoping that changes during this offseason, and early returns suggest he's trending in the right direction. Whether or not he can push Jalen Tolbert for playing time remains to be seen. But at minimum, Mingo adding pressure to the wide receiver 3 race is a positive. All this talent at receiver raises a bigger question. How confident are you in the Cowboys' wideout room right now? Compared to this time last year, the depth and upside feel far more promising. With Lamb as the cornerstone, Pickens breaking out, and solid contributions coming from multiple directions, it feels like Dak. Prescott has more weapons than he's had in quite some time. And that could be exactly what this offense needs to take the next step. Tight end is another position group that deserves attention. Brevin Spanford is quietly starting to work his way into the mix for more meaningful snaps. Though he hasn't lit up the stat sheet during minicamp, what stands out is his presence with the first team. He's been rotating in with the starters, and that alone is worth noting. Spanford's blend of size and blocking ability gives the Cowboys something unique, something that might shake up the hierarchy in the tight end room. Jake Ferguson remains entrenched as the starter, and rightly so. His performance last season earned him that spot, but behind him things might not be so stable. Luke Schoonmaker was expected to solidify the number 2 role, but Spanford getting more reps with the ones could suggest otherwise. It might just be a rotation thing. It might be an evaluation thing, but it might also mean that the staff is looking for more physicality and versatility than what they've gotten from Schoonmaker so far. The summer will provide more answers, especially when the pads come on and blocking reps start to matter more. Still, Spanford's rise is worth keeping a close eye on. And if he continues to make strides, the Cowboys might find themselves in a position to carry 3 tight ends comfortably, or even have an unexpected shift in the depth chart. In the midst of all the offensive praise, it's only fair to address the other side of the ball. The secondary has been struggling, and while some of that is expected during non-contact minicamp sessions, there are valid reasons for concern. Injuries have ravaged the defensive back group. Key players like Donovan Wilson, Marquese Bell, and even Trevon Diggs are either sidelined or limited. Others like Andrew Booth and Kalen King are ramping up slowly. That leaves a mix of second and third stringers playing against starting caliber offensive talent, which creates a mismatch that heavily favors the offense. Still, a few individuals are managing to shine. Kyer Elam, for instance, recorded a pass breakup on a free play that nearly turned into an interception. That kind of instinct and positioning is what the Cowboys need from their depth players, especially while they wait for the starters to get healthy. Dayron Bland, now working almost exclusively in the nickel role, appears to be holding down the interior spot effectively. But the reality is this: with so many top corners and safeties unavailable, the defense is at a clear disadvantage. That shows up in the way quarterbacks like Dak Prescott and Joe Milton are slicing through the coverage during drills. If you're wondering whether the Cowboys need to add another veteran corner before the season starts, you're not alone. The depth situation is precarious, and while things might look a lot better once players like Diggs and Bell return, relying on health alone is always risky. In a league where pass-happy offenses are more dangerous than ever, insurance at cornerback is not a luxury, it's a necessity. On the linebacker front, Jack Sanborn is beginning to establish himself as a potential starter. He's been operating primarily as the middle linebacker, occasionally shifting into other off-ball roles, and his name keeps coming up with positive buzz. Breakups, strong reads, leadership. Sanborn is doing everything the coaches are asking of him. It's early, but his pairing with Kenneth Murray is shaping up to be the projected starting duo, unless someone else emerges down the line. For now, the Cowboys look like they'll be depending on those two, while waiting for DeMarvion Overshown to recover and get back to full speed. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. You're Support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The Dallas Cowboys are reportedly in the midst of a significant internal upheaval, with rumors swirling about a heated exchange between offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer and tight end Jake Ferguson. Sources close to the team suggest that Schottenheimer's frustration boiled over during a recent practice session, culminating in a definitive statement directed at Ferguson. "He's not playing for me anymore." This alleged outburst, if true, signals a potential crisis within the Cowboys' offensive coaching staff and could have major implications for Ferguson's future with the team. While the exact cause of Schottenheimer's reported ire remains unclear, speculation points to inconsistencies in Ferguson's performance or perhaps a disagreement over tactical approaches. Ferguson, who has shown flashes of potential, has also been prone to errors at critical moments, which may have contributed to the coach's exasperation. The whispers from within the Cowboys camp paint a picture of mounting tension, raising questions about team chemistry and leadership. If Schottenheimer has indeed drawn such a firm line, it creates a precarious situation for head coach Mike McCarthy, who would be forced to address the rift. This rumored breakdown in communication and trust between a key coach and a promising player could disrupt the team's preparations and morale as they look ahead to the upcoming season. The "not playing for me anymore" declaration, even as a rumor, suggests a deep-seated issue that goes beyond typical practice frustrations. It implies a fundamental breakdown in the player-coach relationship, potentially forcing the Cowboys to consider difficult personnel decisions. This unconfirmed friction adds another layer of intrigue to a team that is already under immense pressure to perform, and it will undoubtedly be a storyline to watch as the offseason progresses. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.